Alright, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Hamish Bassig, and today we are covering my immortal game. This game is my highest rated win. It won a Brilliancy prize, and it's a London system, so it fits all the criteria, and I'm very proud of this game. I'm playing against David Cannon, who's a FM, and this was first round of the tournament, so, and he's the highest seed, I'm the lowest seed. It's like David versus Goliath. Anyway, um, oh shoot. Alright, so we started with a London system. And normally he plays King's Indian, but he went for a Greenfield setup. So, this and I don't know what to say here, but it's sort of just a position. Like, there's not really much going on. It's a positional game from here on, and I guess that's sort of what I like to play for. You could also play with like h4 and h5, but I'm not I'm not into that stuff. I'm trying to squeeze, not checkmate. Okay, so h3, because knight h5 is always a move, so h3, bishop e7, bishop e2. You can always play bishop d3 also, but I don't know. Like normally, if there's a pawn in g6, you play bishop e2. Stops knight h5 sometimes. I guess if you play bishop d3, they can play knight e4, and you can't take the knight because then they fork you also. So that's another reason. So it's generally better on e2. Um, c5, castles, knight c6, and this is sort of like tabia in Grandmaster play. Um, and I believe I've seen this position a few times played by Gadakamsky in his live streams, who's a super GM. And he plays in London. And I used to watch his live streams a lot, so I don't know if this was exactly fear to me, but I'm sort of familiar with his position. And he normally goes to this plan that I went for, which is a4. The idea is to play a5 eventually. Obviously, there's a knight here. Sometimes there are tactics where you can play a5 anyway, but your idea basically is knight e5, and then you'll exchange off this knight and get a5 in. Maybe a6 would be nice to hit the bishop, and this pawn can be strong in the endgame and such. And we do have a bit less space, so a piece exchange would benefit us. So he plays knight d7. Yeah, black's probably basically has to go for e5 in this position. So like rook e8, knight d7, both fine moves. Knight d7 is played by a majority of grandmasters. And I play queen b3, sort of attacking d5, but not really because of knight takes d4. Queen takes b7, knight takes c2, king h1 takes, and I don't think that's really like gaining much for me. But I guess d5 maybe will eventually hang in the future. It also puts pressure on his bishop, so now I can play a5 actually, because a5 knight takes, then knight rook takes, and takes. So it just puts a bit of pressure on the position, and maybe I can play. Maybe I've connected my rooks. I guess it's just a good move in general. He could have played e5 here also. He didn't play it, but what I think he was scared of is some position like this where it can sort of get pretty drawn, but even slightly better for white, because this d5 pawn is weak in the long term. In the middle game, it's not really a weakness. It's more of a strength, as it controls a lot of central squares. But if we get something like a major piece endgame, imagine all the bishops are gone. The pawn is simply a weakness, and we'll play rook d1, rook here, rook here, rook here, and eventually win this pawn. So there is a bit of strategic danger for black. It's like a very long term thing, of course. I mean, and obviously the pawn is great here. It does control other squares, like it controls my knight in d2 very well, for example, controls my bishop. But I mean, in a major piece endgame, probably not so great. But that's far in the future. Anyway, he plays queen c8. This is prophylaxis against a5 because knight. I wanted to play a5, knight takes, rook takes, and now the bishop is defended. Maybe he also has ideas of bishop a6. Yeah. So rook fd1, just sort of like a flexible move. Just putting a bit of pressure on the center. Yeah, maybe I can play bishop f1, just tuck the bishop in, just cause. Sort of waiting. Also, it's waiting for e5. Like it's a good move if they play e5. which is black's main pawn break in this position, and then the rook will be very well placed here. So it's just a flexible move. Waiting for him, and he plays rook e8. He's also sort of not totally committing to e5, but he's definitely planning it. And now queen a3. My idea is b4, and after b4, I'm putting a lot of pressure here. He'll probably have to take, and I can open the c file, and then this rook will be much happier because it's not doing much right now, and his queen will also feel very misplaced on the c file. So it would be very nice for me if I could open the c file and get, and what would happen as a result of that, we get an exchange Slav structure. So if black just allows something like this is an exchange Slav where they've double fianchetted, which is not good. Because now this bishop's staring into dust, this bishop is staring into dust, and my bishops are wonderful. So, I mean, you would rather have your bishop on like d6 and f5. These are probably the perfect squares for the black bishops, but that's not happening here, and I just have better bishops here. My knight in d2 is not so great, but I can play knight b1, knight c3. And yeah, probably white's just better here, right? Queen's misplaced, bishops are better. It's smiling. So queen a3 with the other b4. And he plays bishop f8. So funny, he plays bishop f8, bishop g7, bishop f8. And now I also make a funny move. I play queen a2. Just sort of, he has some tactics sometimes with take e5, right? So we just get out of the way, and it's an interesting maneuver. You know, queen b3, queen a3, queen a2. But again, like, I didn't want to go back to b3 because I don't gain anything, and I'm blocking my b4. And I want to eventually play b4. Okay, so yeah, he plays e6, and now I play a nice tactical move. It's a cool chess concept in general. You're using tactics to achieve positional goals. I want to create play on the queen side, because that's like sort of where I'm strongest, with all my pieces pointing towards the queen side. Like, and I play move a5. I'm trying to open the queen side. I think, well, I'm threatening to win a piece also, of course, and like it's defended like by the knight and the pawn, but it's cool because if you take with the pawn, I'll play knight b3 and win the pawn, and he has weaknesses on like a7 and stuff, so that's fine for me. And if knight takes, which is played in the game, then I have this move, pawn takes. If he takes with the pawn, the knight hangs, and if he takes with the piece, I have b4. So I'm just very nice tactics, and I get to open like a couple files on the queen side. e5, bishop g3, and knight b6, and this is a very critical position. So I get the position has changed a lot since like a few moves ago. We've opened up the center, and he has two central pawns, so he's a very nice center here. He could be better long term, but right now white has a lot of dynamic play against the center. And black's also a bit underdeveloped. The pieces are a bit strange, so this is like our moment to strike out. So e4 is very logical, therefore. And now d5 is hanging, so black has to do something about it. He plays d4, advancing the pawn, but now my queen is like much stronger now. And now knight c4, and it's starting to get scary. If he takes, there's something wrong with it. Yeah, I'm hitting this, and if he plays like rook e7, then I just win the pawn here. So, um, knight c4, and I'm also attacking e5. Yeah, I'm attacking e5 and I'm attacking d4. That's the point of knight c4. He plays knight d7. So if I take, he can take on e4 at the end. But I have a very nice tactical move, knight g5. And if h6, I can take, and I'll take the queen. So I'm threatening knight takes f7 here. This is very scary already. And he goes backwards, knight d8, and it's +4 here. And it's a really beautiful position, like, and it's it's the time. It's like there's so much action and stuff. We have all these active pieces, so it sort of has to be like a win. And he's gone so passive. Like all of his pieces are on like first 2 ranks and stuff. I'm gonna mate this guy if I find the right continuation, and I did. So takes. The pawn is just hanging, so just takes, rook takes, and then this is defended. So he plays h6 first, but I believe he missed my epic move rook ac1, sacrificing the knight, sort of, but with some very cool ideas. So if he takes, I think my idea was either knight b6 or knight d6. I think it was knight b6. Oh no, it was knight e5. Yeah, it was knight e5, and the cool idea is, if he moves his queen, then I can just take here, and now there's a discovered attack. So, I mean, there's a lot of tactics here that I don't entirely remember my calculations, but, it's a very, it's just such a tactical position. It's very beautiful with all our pieces, like, rampaging the black position, and all the black's pieces, like, sitting down, doing nothing. Okay, so takes, knight c5, just sort of a desperate attempt, but I take, bishop takes c4, and then more sacrifices, rook takes d8, exchange sacrifice. It's not exactly like a sacrifice because we get 2 pawns for the exchange, and like his king is super weak, but it's still cool. And also, I calculated this, you have check, and you win the rook back, so this is not even hanging. And now, like, there's always like bishop e5 threats, bishop d3, bishop c4, maybe the rook can swing, and his pawn is pushing, so this is just winning now. And I just put my pieces on good squares. He blended a pawn. Like, I guess he thought he had bishop h6, but then bishop e5. You have to take, and then I win another exchange. So bishop g7, just push the pawns. There's nothing he can do here, and then he just blunders with rook e5, and bishop e5 decides the game. So that was my epic game versus David Cannon. Very beautiful. I mean, it didn't look like it was going to be such a cool game. It looked like a very quiet position, but as soon as the center opened a bit and he made a few passive moves, I got a very beautiful initiative and made some cool sacrifices, like rook ac1 and then rook takes d8, and yeah, and I ended up winning this tournament. So it was a very good first impression for this tournament. I got 7 out of 9, and I'm very proud of it. So yeah, thank you so much.